has been a little bit since I have done a rose video here, but I thought it would be a good time to sit down and just show what the garden looks like here in fall. It is almost Thanksgiving. I think that's next week maybe. And so I will just show you guys around the garden so you can see how everything looks. This time of year I have been a little busy, so I've just been able to knock out some fall chores here and there over the weekends. The majority of chores was just getting everything cleaned up from the summer, getting everything kind of trimmed up after the summer, getting all of the mulch and debris cleaned up after the monsoon seasons, and just getting everything ready to look good and enjoy with the cooler weather. So for me, gardening is something I do more because I enjoy it and I really enjoy the space that it creates to have a garden. It's nice to have, you know, a nice little green space to yourself that you can enjoy here in the desert. So because I do enjoy the roses, it doesn't feel as big of a chore, as big of a task to take care of them, even though it is quite a bit of work. I do a fair amount of gardening. I have a lot of roses, I think over 50. So it does cause quite a bit of work, but for me, I like to just tackle it a little at a time, just getting things done here and there. And you know, over time, even though you're not doing everything in one fell swoop, everything does add up and everything does start coming together and looking quite nice. However, you know, it's always a work in progress, and I think that's okay in gardening. I think it's okay to have things that don't look 100% perfect, and I think it's just more important to get a space that you really like, you really enjoy, and you really want to be in and enjoy the weather in. So like I said, I'll just take you around the garden, how it looks right now, what I've been doing to prep everything for fall, what I have left. I still have not pruned or trained any of my vines, which I do need to do soon. It's okay. There's no, you know, rush in gardening. There's no due dates. There's no deadlines. So I do like that about gardening, and I do like that about roses. So I do think you can baby roses, but overall they're pretty hardy. And if you don't get to doing some things with the roses, they'll be fine without too much help from you. So I do that, appreciate that about roses, that they are pretty hardy, um, and they do kind of mirror as much work as you put into them. I think they kind of mirror that back at you. So like I said, my garden isn't perfect, but I really do like it, and I hope that it helps maybe inspire you if you're here in Phoenix to kind of think outside of the box a little bit. I know that landscaping here is kind of portrayed in maybe one way, like it's the desert and you have to have this certain desert looking landscape, but I do think you can do a lot of different things, and I think that you have a lot of choices and opportunities here in the desert to kind of make your backyard what you would like. So I will show you mine. So over here I do have my ladybanks. I did have a question about how my ladybanks is doing right now this time of year. Here it is, growing out of control like usual. I have trimmed this probably a couple times. It's about due for another little trimming here. We'll get to that soon. This down here is some mint, another kind of out of control species. I do like having the mint here though. It's very easy. It's basically a weed, and you can do a lot with the mint. You can make, you know, tea, cook with it, eat it, smell it, enjoy it. So over here I have my Distant Drums Floribunda rose. This rose was the last rose I got to when pruning. Typically I like to prune after the summer to get kind of junky old growth off, and this one was the last one I pruned. So you can see I opened it up and you can see that there's quite a bit of new growth down here that's gonna grow off of some nice sturdy canes. This one actually did have a flush of blooms on it before I cut it back or trimmed it up. And then over here is my other distant drums. This one I pruned back like a couple weeks before the one I just showed you, and you can see it's got it's starting to fill in a lot more than the other one, and it's got a lot of buds on it, so it should look should be covered in blooms here pretty soon. So I do think pruning up the rose after the summer is a chore to do, and like I said, this was one of the bigger chores that I've been spending a lot of my time on. So sometimes what I like to do is just walk around with a cup of coffee, and I will just have some shears in my hand, or little pruner shears in my hand, and I'll just kind of lightly prune as I drink coffee. And I find that to be a very relaxing, easy way to get a lot of pruning done. So most of these here I have pruned, and they're starting to grow back in. And what I actually do is I just trim everything and I throw them into different piles. And I spent yesterday kind of raking up all those piles and shoving them in this wheelbarrow. I still do need to get this bagged and put in the alley. So it is a bit of a slower process for me. I could have knocked, I think rose pruning is quite easy, and I could have knocked a lot of the pruning out fairly quickly, but I just took my time and got it done as I needed. These back here are my vines that I really need to prune and train. They were just blooming, so it would be an opportune time right now to cut these back before they start putting on new growth again. So I do want to do a video showing me kind of going through and pruning this up and training it back. It has from the summer back there, you can kind of see this wall is western facing wall. It gets very hot, so there is a definite kind of scorching and some dieback on here, so definitely needs some pruning. This guy right here, I just planted him last season. He made it through the summer and is actually looking really good. I got it from the Home Depot. This one's called Love. It has the white underside, bright red petals. Looks good. It's gonna start putting on some more blooms. This guy's an heirloom rose. I got him off of their website and planted him. It's actually just turned a year old in October-ish. This guy does okay. This is hot cocoa. It does okay here. I don't know that it loves the heat. I've got some lavender that's still going. Baby basil popped up from seed back here. And this kale I thought was gonna die, but it lives on. It made it through the summer. I have this little walkway that I like to walk with a cup of coffee in my hand in the morning with the wind chime. This rose here is called Easy Does It. This one's called Easy Does It. It's been blooming. It looks pretty nice. It gets more orange with the cooler temperatures, and as it gets older and as it gets warmer, it'll lighten up like that. This little one behind it is a little sun blaze that I picked up at Lowe's. I really like these little mini roses. I like the way they grow. They stay low to the ground and they put on like really nice flushes of blooms. This pink rose right here is called Tournament of Roses. This one was one of the heirloom roses I bought. I think it does, it's been doing well in the heat. This red rose, this is gonna get a nice big pruning when it comes time for our winter prune, but in the meantime it's just kind of growing out of control with nice little red blooms. It's a flower carpet rose that I picked up from the nursery here. So this little topiary rose, I have not pruned. I have not pruned this since the summer. I've been meaning to prune this on camera, so I've just kind of been putting it off, but it really does need some pruning. If you are interested, this is what a rose will look like if you don't prune after Arizona summer. It's really not that bad. So if you don't get around to doing that fall chore, it's not terrible. This has had a flush since the summer ended, and it did look quite nice. I just need to clean it up. Okay, this rose here is not looking very good. Every time I kind of walked past here, I thought, oh, I need to fertilize this, and I just, I guess I never did. I didn't get around to fertilizing this until last week. So I finally put some fertilizer down last week, so you can see it is starting to help. I didn't do the granular. I just tried, I want to see what happens just doing mulch and some iron. So I want to see the effect that that's going to have on this guy. But yeah, this needed some fertilizer like a long time ago. But it was the only one in the yard doing it, so I kind of just kept spacing it every time I walked by. But it did bloom, and it should start to green up now that I got to fertilize it. Over here I have some more ground cover roses, the drift, and this is another flower carpet rose. There's a lot of hoses over there, but this one here is Oklahoma. You can see some of the older growth on it. Needed some fertilizer, but I think the newer growth is starting to look really nice. And this one had a flush already, and you can see it's getting ready for another round. So just have to wait a little bit, and it'll be full of nice red fragrant roses. These two over here are more little Sunblaze mini roses. Again, I think they're just really cute, and I really like that they bloom all over. I also had this little garden statue. I had him somewhere else, but I moved him. I think it's quite cute. She's holding a bouquet of roses, and he's got a little gift. He's gonna surprise her. It's kind of cute when you enter the little path. You can see him giving her a kiss. Okay, so this is kind of like the beginning of the trail, I guess, to get on the rose trail. This over here is an heirloom rose that I planted online. It's doing quite well. And then next to it is this really pretty lavender rose. What is this called? Blue Girl. And I really like this rose. I just think it's really pretty every time it blooms. It does okay in the heat. I wouldn't say it's the most heat-loving, but it does like it. I think it does very well here when it cools down, like we've got cooler weather now. This tree rose next to it is ketchup and mustard. I enjoy this rose a lot. I think it does very well even in the heat here. There we've got a bee. He likes it too. This one's kind of like the opposite of that love. It's got a yellow under instead of the white. Okay, and then these over here, again, some of the foliage is, you know, is what it is, but it's coming around, cooling down, coming around, looking pretty nice, putting some new buds on. And then this vine behind it, I have not trained it up yet, so it's looking a bit gnarly like all my other vines along this wall. It shouldn't be bad. I would say for me, the rose bushes are fairly easy to knock out, trim up, knock out, and be done with. But I do think the rose vines do kind of are more on the order of magnitude of a chore to kind of handle and get trained. But I think it's worth it. I just haven't gotten around to it. This right here is the David Austin tree rose that I planted. It did make it through the summer. It did not like the summer, but it made it. Once I get this vine behind it kind of back up on the wall, I'll probably give this a prune. It is younger and it didn't love the summer so much, so I think it's okay to kind of leave it for now, but hopefully this blooms nicely in the winter. We'll see. This one here is Easy Spirit, and I really like this flower, but it tends to nod down to the ground, so it kind of makes me sad. I got this bloom, but again it's kind of nodding down. And this guy I need to get on fertilizing with. So this one I didn't do any mulch or any fertilizer, and it does look like it's needing some. This one next to it, I just did the mulch instead of the granular, and I think it is doing the job. But I want to see what happens if I just use the mulch and none of the granulars this fall. This little pink one is another little mini sunblaze rose. This one was covered in cute little pink buds, blooms, but they're since past due. But we've got more, so it'll be cute again. And then back here you can see I actually finally just got this sauna. I put the order in like a year ago, and it finally just got here a couple weeks ago. I've been happy with it so far. It's really nice to have out here, and I really like that it has a lot of glass on it, and it like looks out over the roses, so you can kind of see the yard. I think it's really cool. Nice. This is the inside. Obviously this is a jacuzzi sauna. It's just the 2-person outdoor model. It's actually pretty big. It's not as small as I thought it was gonna be, and it came with like the LED lights and the speakers that you can Bluetooth. Yeah, so the view out into the yard, even though it's not like the cleanest and the most pristine yard in the world, I really do like sitting in here and being able to just relax and enjoy. It's almost like you're in your own little jungle in here, just looking out at the roses. Okay, and then this little stepping stone area is got that funny fairy welcoming you, and then there's a little bench, and then this bench kind of doubles as a trellis. Again, it would look and function a lot better once I train that rose vine on it. But I do like this little sitting area over here. I like that it's kind of hidden and you can't see it from the rest of the yard. And I think this view over here from where the sauna is sitting is just a really neat view, especially when everything starts blooming, and when I get rid of that bucket of dead rose stems. Okay, so from where I've got the little sauna, you can see I have just not finished this completely yet. Still a work in progress. Still got all my junk sitting over there to finish this. But I did get in a little copper tubing and a little shower head. So I'm very excited about this little shower. That way you can do some yard work, shower off. Or get out of the sauna and just shower off really quickly. It is just cold water only. There's no hot water to it. But I'm really excited. I've only thought about putting an outdoor shower head over here for like 5 years, so it's finally going to happen. So little by little, you know, the yard is coming along. And then I've got Hosa Palooza over here. When we did the shower work, which my friend put all that copper piping in, which I'm really grateful for, we tried to get this hose off of the spigot, and it actually broke the spigot before the hose came off. So I'm having a little hose crisis. But you know what? If I can overlook the little the little hose crisis, I think the yard is coming along really nicely. I'm really happy with it. I know there's a lot of things that I still need to do, or I need to get on it, but overall I just am really enjoying having this nice space to come out, drink coffee, enjoy the rose blooms, and enjoy the weather right now. It's really nice out. So okay, and like I said, and I've alluded to a couple of times, I still need to do a video on the rose vines, and I do want to do a video on pruning that topiary rose. So you should see those videos next time, and if you like this, please do subscribe. Thank you.